Hey everybody, this is the Aggressively Medium podcast with Lee and Josh.
Episode 28.
We're back.
Yeah. I'm actually in a good mood
We
now.
didn't leave, but we're back.
Yeah.
You're in a good mood today?
Back at your house. Huh?
You're in a good mood today?
I'm in a better mood.
That's good.
Yeah.
Last week you were not in a good mood.
Nope. I was lonely. Not really.
You don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com.
Did you ever try out Farmers Only?
No,
I know you're on all the other ones.
I was. Not now, I'm not.
Well, you were. I said were.
I
Yeah.
were, yeah.
I was there scrolling through them with you.
I was
at
on
some points.
Christian Mingle. That was the biggest load of crap.
Yeah. That's everybody's fallback one.
You can't find anybody, just go to
I'll find me
christianmingle.com.
a Christian person.
Yeah.
They're probably not riddled with disease and baggage, which we all are.
I was about to
The
say.
baggage, not the disease.
About to say.
But
Yeah. So if you are listening to us or watching us, there are a few different ways that you can do
we're
one or the other.
thankful. First
We're
off.
thankful. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But you can check us out on iTunes.
Yep.
You can check us out on YouTube.
Yep.
You can check us out on Spotify, TuneIn. And if you want to send us in a message, you can either call us or text us or send us a video message at 205-523-5934. Speaking of, we had somebody comment this week.
Hey-o.
So old buddy of mine, Jason Taylor, we called him Muff. I still don't remember why we called him Muff. But anyways, he said, the show this past week was really fun. Your co-host is starting to grow on me.
Well, that's good to know.
Keep up the good conversations and content.
Thanks.
So, Jason, Muff.
I'm not calling him that.
Yeah, I never did call him that.
That's good.
I called him Jason.
Yeah. That has.
But, yeah. So, you're growing on him. That's good.
Jason, I appreciate it. Glad to know.
Glad I'm not the one that has to grow on people. People just genuinely like me.
That's fine. I don't show all my cards at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, shout out Jason Taylor for watching.
Sounds like a fake name, but that's fine.
It's a real name.
Jason Taylor. Parents didn't try very hard on that one.
Well, I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah.
Dude, the weather finally feels good.
My God.
outside.
It only took a hurricane to bring it, but
I hope it stays like this until I die.
well, you know it ain't going to.
I know, but I wish it would.
It's the middle of September's the hottest month we got anyway.
For all those people who live in Oregon that watch the show, this is how Alabama weather goes. It's really nice right now.
For about 2 weeks.
And then it'll be 90 degrees.
Yep. And then we'll have
For a
winter
month.
for a month.
Yeah.
If we're lucky, we'll get a dusting of snow.
Yeah.
And then at the end of March, it's hot again.
Yep.
That's pretty much
Pretty much all we got.
it. Except in 93,
Oh, yeah, the blizzard?
the
I
blizzard
thought that was 94.
is 93 because it was in April.
Uh-huh.
I think I might have made that up. I think it was in April. It was in a weird month. It wasn't.
Yeah.
And because I was like just over a year old, because there's pictures of me like standing in it and it's up to my neck because we had like a foot of snow or something.
March 12th and 13th.
March. Okay.
1993.
Yep.
12 straight hours of heavy snow. Mm-hmm. In some places, 2 to 3 inches came down each hour.
Yeah. There's pictures and videos of me being like 14 months old
Yeah.
in it, and it's like up to here.
Well, there would have been pictures and videos of me if we would have been rich enough to afford
I was
those
to say if
things.
y'all didn't live in the woods in a tree house.
But, yeah. But, man, it feels good outside.
It does. It's great.
Which caused us, me and Meg, to kind of venture out this weekend.
But y'all went inside.
Yeah. So our original plan was we were going to go camping and in the van.
So not camping.
Actual camping.
So vacationing.
No. Anyways, so we were going to go camping and then things got canceled. But we went to one of Alabama's most coveted places.
Which I didn't know about until
Which you didn't know about.
Anna told me
Called
about it.
Unclaimed Baggage. It's
Yeah.
in Scottsboro, Alabama. There's a lot of hype surrounding it. A lot of hype. And I was let down.
Really?
Yeah. Because I was like, okay, so if you don't understand the concept, Unclaimed Baggage is a place that airlines just send unclaimed baggage to for free, which their business model is fantastic, by the way. You pay $0 for your product. You have 100% markup.
Yeah.
Whatever you sell it for is what you made on it. Mm-hmm. But so unclaimed baggage, there's all kind of stuff coming in and going out and all this other stuff. I'm expecting I don't know, like a toilet seat that
I'm in
Dale
my
Earnhardt
head,
signed or something.
Well, I'm not thinking that. In my head, I'm thinking it's like, at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, when they put the Ark in
that warehouse.
I'm thinking of a warehouse like that.
Just full of just cool.
Of just suitcases.
Yeah, just cool stuff.
That have all kind of crap in them.
Yeah, this is not the case. It's pretty much like a big thrift store. But
that makes sense.
The thing is there's a lot of really cool stuff. There are, if you're into clothes, you can find almost anything in there. And you can get it at a good price. And so there's a brand called Technical or Triple Aught Designs. It's like a tactical wear type deal. Mm-hmm. I found a jacket. It's a tactical aught jacket. It's $250 retail. And if it's not a big brand, I'm sure they don't do the time to research how much does this actually cost. So I bought it for $10. It's brand new. Still has the tags on it. Still who's carrying tags on a plane? So it could be something that either you bought while you're on vacation.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we're bringing it home. Or my thought was sales reps at a show or something, traveling, lose a bag or something. But yeah, so $250 jacket, really nice jacket, tactical, matte black, got all the, it's a sweet jacket. I picked it up for $10.
That ain't bad.
So but you've got to it's not dirt cheap where you're looking and then you're like, oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool. It's how many Columbia shirts am I going to look at before I find something really interesting?
If you like Columbia shirts, though.
If you like Columbia shirts, man, go to Unclaimed Baggage and get your fill.
How far a drive is it?
I think it was 2.5, something like that. Which we made a day of it. So we went and ate in Birmingham and then hit Scottsboro, and then on the way back, we did a really interesting thing. So we took the Tesla. So we were coming back from Scottsboro. We had to charge in Steele, Alabama, at a gas station there, and across the street from the gas station was a drag strip. And Meg had never been to any type of event like that. And so we were like, might as well just go on over. It was 9:00 at night. So we drove over there. They were still doing dirt drag races.
Yeah.
And so we stayed there till about 11.
Jeez.
Finally came home. But she was overjoyed. She loved it.
Well, that's the point.
She loved it. It was awesome. She finally got to see how the people I grew up around. It was just redneck city down there.
Yeah.
No masks.
No.
Not a single person had a mask on.
No.
In that entire facility.
Yeah.
But
the drivers barely wear helmets.
Yeah.
Much less a mask.
I doubt most of them wore helmets.
Probably not.
But yeah, she was like a kid in a candy store. It was pretty cool to see. And so that got me to saying, hey, we need to go watch a dirt track race, because those are really fun. It's just carnage.
They're cool.
They're cool. They're carnage the whole time. Because it's just a bunch of guys that are like, I want to be a race car driver. And then they go soup up a car, put it on the dirt track, don't know how to run on a dirt track, and just...
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
So you had fun. You had a good weekend.
Yeah, we had a good weekend. We had a really good weekend.
Mine was similar. I dropped my phone and destroyed it.
Yeah, good. That's kind of like finding a $200 jacket for $10.
Yeah.
So the same feeling.
Spent the weekend navigating through not having a phone that worked, which is great. And then took it to Verizon yesterday. Took it to Verizon. They said you can you own your phones outright. Mm-hmm. That's me and Anna made a while ago. Paid them off. I don't want to owe anybody any money. Went to Verizon. I said, you're due for an upgrade. Cool. So yeah, you can just pick out whatever phone you want, and then it's the 2-year $30
But was
a month.
the phone was free?
No.
I was about to say.
No.
I was about to say I hadn't heard of anybody giving away phones for free in a long time.
No, they're like, you can get the new one, new iPhone 11, whatever, da-da-da.
Yeah.
And we'll put you back on that 2-year thing. And I said, is there any other way? I don't want to pay for a phone monthly for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So you can go through our Assurion, it's their insurance, third party. Cell phone companies don't, or networks don't do the insurance side of it. They third party that out.
Okay.
But it's super simple. Here's the pamphlet. You follow the instructions. Spent 2 days trying to do it. And realized that this place's whole goal is to not mail phones to people. That's their goal.
That's their goal.
That's their goal.
As a company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want you to pay whatever a month for the insurance and frustrate you to the point of going back to Verizon and saying, I'll just pay for 2 years per month for a new phone that you hand to me. So if my phone wasn't already broken, I'd have thrown it across the room and broke it. But
Yeah.
finally figured that out and we pay Anna's family monthly to be on their plan. So of course I can't do any of the paperwork.
Yeah.
But luckily Anna's mom was in town
Heck yeah.
because she came back with them last week when they were gone. She came back and was leaving Monday afternoon. So I'm not even gonna lie. She did it. I got so frustrated and just so she phone's gonna be here tomorrow.
Nice.
Just another iPhone 10 or X or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
The one I had before. So still got it, but it's got this cool racing stripe down the side. And the battery dies in about 8 seconds.
You know, I've been thinking a lot about that this week I remember when a new phone would come out and I would just get excited.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, I need that. Now, man, I could care. This one works.
Until they stop
Making it
you,
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, man, I don't ever drop my phone really. And
Do you have a case on it? And it still broke?
yeah, it's got a case. It just landed directly on this corner. And the thing that pissed me off the most is I dropped it because I was having to throw a mask on real quick because the person I was meeting was walking up towards me. So I did the old classic. I put it under my chin and then was trying to throw a mask on real fast and dropped it. And it's just like freaking COVID.
Yeah.
If they don't get you with the disease, they'll get you with a cell phone.
Yeah. That's
So,
what it's all about.
appreciate
Just
it.
big companies trying to
China.
get more money out of you.
Yeah. But it was funny that their whole goal is to get you to go back to Verizon and buy to pay for it for 2 years to get a new one.
And speaking of the weekend, too, college football's back.
Oh, yeah.
And I care nothing about college football.
I don't now. I'm over it.
And so that's why we created our bracket.
Yep.
This
doing a
is
bracket.
college football for people who don't care about sports.
Yep.
So this week we have 8 matchups between 16 teams. And what we're going to do is we're going to rank these teams based on their mascots.
Yeah. We're going to do like a March Madness style
Bracket.
64 team bracket with your 5 major conferences. SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12.
Yeah.
Minus Notre Dame because they don't want to be in a conference, so we don't want them to be in our bracket.
Yeah. Plus they're a leprechaun.
Yeah.
And magic doesn't exist in this equation.
Right. A little short Irish person would get beat pretty quick,
Yeah.
I bet.
Probably.
So I broke it down to where I put like 4 or 5 teams from each conference in each bracket. And the rankings don't really matter. I kind of just threw it together to where there's not a bunch of overlap with conferences.
Yeah.
So like, well, that team's a good football team. Why are they a 14 seed? It doesn't matter because it's about the mascots anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All we're focused on is the mascots.
Yep.
This is if mascots were real.
Yep.
So if you've got a eagle and a tiger facing off against each other, who would win?
Tiger.
Depends.
Well,
Because
I'm
we
just
got to look at the mascots.
Right.
Because, we said last week, some can be cartoony.
Some are real
Some
cartoon,
are realistic.
yeah.
And so that's what we're going to do this week. And this coming up week, you guys will get to vote in the rankings for next week. This week, we didn't have enough time to put the rankings up.
I thought they were going to break the tie if there was one. Are they going to vote every time? Or are they going to
Yeah,
break
they're going to vote every time.
I thought they were just going to break
No,
ties.
they're going to vote every time. So they'll vote on every round for next week.
Okay.
And then that will be a tiebreaker. If there is a tiebreaker,
True,
they
they'll
will
be
be
the
a
tiebreaker.
tiebreaker.
Okay. Do you want to
and
roll
then-
through these 8?
Yeah, let's roll through these
All
8.
right. So, the first matchup, we live in Tuscaloosa, so Alabama's the overall number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And they're going against the University of California Golden Bears. So I pulled up the mascots for us to look at.
All right. I'm going to have
This-
to put my glasses on.
You're thinking goggles. This is a real lame looking bear.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So
That's like Mickey Mouse, but with his ears chopped off.
yeah,
That's what he looks like.
he's a loser.
So we can just go ahead and chalk this one up to
I was just
Alabama.
I was waiting to see what you had to say, but
Yeah. I mean, it's not even.
yeah. Even if you go by what mascot is Alabama, they're an elephant, but they're also the Crimson Tide. Either one's putting this bear down quick.
An elephant versus this bear.
Yeah, this bear
An elephant
specifically-
versus a normal bear, we might have a matchup. But
Maybe.
an elephant versus this bear,
That was an easy one.
that bear's done.
You ready for the second matchup?
Yes.
The University of Indiana.
Okay.
They're the Hoosiers.
What is that?
I'm not sure what that is, but here's the mascot. He looks
Okay.
kind of like a British soldier
Okay.
from back in the day,
Okay.
like Revolutionary War style British soldier.
Versus.
Versus the Northwestern Wildcat.
Huh.
He's got some teeth on him.
Yeah. So, a Hoosier
A Hoosier.
is.
Tell him what a Hoosier is, Josh.
I mean, if you don't know what a Hoosier is at this
Yeah,
point,
we'll tell you.
yeah,
Just for
just for giggles.
what is a Hoosier?
A Hoosier is the official name for a resident of the state of Indiana.
Oh my gosh!
So we have somebody from Indiana.
But we're going by mascots.
Okay, yeah.
So your mascot looks like a British soldier.
This Hoosier.
Hoosier. Zh. Hoosier.
This Hoosier versus
A Wildcat.
this Wildcat. I just can't see a way because Hoosier doesn't have a gun or anything.
I mean,
And just based on the fact that all he is just a person from Indiana.
but he's
Versus-
look at him. He's a soldier.
Well, he's from India. He's just a guy from Indiana.
Okay.
His name could be Greg.
Well, how many guys from Indiana get tore up by bobcats? Basically, that's
Wildcats.
that's what a wildcat
Wildcat.
is. It's a cougar.
Let's get it right.
It's not a cougar. It's a bobcat.
I'm saying just a guy from Indiana versus a Wildcat.
This wildcat.
That Wildcat. I think Wildcat. Because I mean, a Wildcat. Look at them big old teeth. He's got some
teeth
claws.
on
He can hear you coming from thousands of yards away.
This guy looks like he knows how to fight, though.
Yeah, but also this guy.
That's from the 60s.
It's the same, but it's the
Well, then we'll
mascot.
just do- what about that one?
Yeah,
That's
okay.
a child.
Okay, that's fine. A Hoosier versus a Wildcat. I'm going Wildcat. Because what does he have going for him?
I just don't.
He's just a guy from Indiana. No gun, no discernible features.
If a wildcat walked through that door, you think you'd kill it before it killed you?
Depends on how big it is. That's a big Wildcat.
Oh, this is a cartoon.
Yeah, but it's a mascot.
I'm getting off this child Hoosier. I'm going back to the adult one. We can go wildcat. That's fine.
I mean, I just don't see any way around it not being a Wildcat. Because if what a Hoosier is just a guy from Indiana,
Okay.
he eats BLTs on the weekends
Here.
versus a guy,
Well.
a Wildcat.
Ain't nothing wrong with BLT.
There ain't, but versus a Wildcat?
All right.
Okay.
Next matchup's Louisville versus TCU.
Or as some people say, Louisville.
It's Louisville. Don't. Louisville,
So Louisville versus
Texas
they?
Christian University. They're the Cardinals.
Cardinals. Okay.
So anything is beating a Cardinal because Cardinals
Well,
are
let's see. What was
stupid
the
birds.
TC.
Horned frog. It's got spikes all over him. Look at that. That thing's eating a cardinal for breakfast. Look at that thing. That looks like a monster.
But a frog
Versus a bird?
versus a bird. A frog.
Yeah.
I guess you got to take into consideration. I think frogs, if you lick them, they like trip you out. I think I've heard that before.
Some. I don't think it's all of them.
But that one probably.
Well,
This is probably a defensive mechanism.
These aren't the poison dart frogs. These are the horned frogs. Cardinal ain't getting in them spikes.
But how spiky is it really?
Well, look at him. Oh, gosh. Oh. Hey, that
pretty spiky.
guy's whooping a cardinal.
That's pretty spiky.
He's whooping a cardinal.
He's whooping a cardinal just based on the fact that his defense is so good. Because he has nothing, I mean...
And then while that bird's over there tripping, he goes and gobbles it up.
Gobbles
Or
it
jumps
up.
on it to
Jumps
death.
on it, yeah. Like Mario.
Yeah. I'm going TCU.
I think I'm gonna go TCU too. And didn't they have another mascot? No. Weren't they green?
Nope.
Or what's
TCU's always been the Horned Frogs.
What's
They're purple and gray.
isn't there a Texas team that's green? I don't know. Because I knew somebody that played football there.
Tulane, maybe, but that's in
No.
Louisiana.
Anyways.
Texas State or something? I don't know, but that's not what we're talking about.
I know. I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Another matchup is Auburn versus Oklahoma State.
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and be biased. I won't vote for Auburn.
Well, you got a
So,
tiger
a tiger versus a cowboy.
with 6 shooters.
Two of them.
2 6.
And he's got him.
He's got a musket right there.
It's not a musket. It's a.
I can't
it's
see
a,
from that far away.
it's
A rifle,
it's
like a
rifle.
repeater.
Yeah. And he's not some cartoony looking dude either.
Yeah, he's
Look
real
at that
deal.
face.
That's like Burt Reynolds.
I thought that too. If Burt Reynolds had 6 shooters and a
Repeater.
a lever action repeater,
Yeah.
versus Auburn's stupid dumb tiger with a jersey on,
Yeah, and
I'm going cowboy.
I'm going Cowboy too, and it's based nothing on the fact that Auburn and Alabama don't like each other.
Mine has something to do with that, but
Mine doesn't, because I don't care either way.
all right.
I told Jason I dressed him up in orange and blue for bed the other night, and I told him to come in here and tell Meg War Eagle,
Ooh, gross.
and she got so mad.
Don't you mess that kid up. But
I just did it to be funny though.
this cowboy is convincingly.
I'm gonna have a hard time not voting for him.
I know. We'll have to decide on the human ones.
When you got to think so far out of everybody that we've said, Alabama maybe
Because it's an elephant.
because it's an elephant. That's an elephant's big,
Yeah.
but this guy's got 6 shooters.
But they're not. It's not
And
an
a
elephant
rifle.
rifle. It ain't an elephant gun. Anyway,
That's
we're
gonna
not
be a
there
tough
yet.
matchup.
We're not there yet.
That's gonna be a tough matchup.
Here we go. Florida State, Oklahoma.
Okay, Florida State Seminole.
It's
So
an actual Seminole with a big spear on a horse.
oof.
Yeah, with fire on the spear.
who's the Seminoles going against?
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Oh, so that's
So
a cow.
No, they're horses, but they do
Oh.
have the horse and buggy that they wheel out there.
Okay, but who wins? Horse and what is that thing called? It's not a stagecoach.
A horse and buggy's fine.
Yeah, but
It is a stagecoach.
what did they? That was
wagon.
Wagon. A horse and wagon versus an Indian.
Well, what
I've
happened
seen
in
enough
history?
Western movies.
What happened in history?
I've seen enough westerns to know that Indians go into town on that horse and wagon. One horse and wagon versus one Indian.
There's multiple people in there.
How many people are in there?
At least 2 to drive that horse.
But one of them's a girl. Like
Okay. So
one of them's like a
You sexist?
No,
So?
I'm not saying sexist. It's just like one.
A girl can't shoot a gun?
No, but one is she's purely eye candy.
Okay.
That's what she's on this. I mean, she's wearing a big red dress in this one.
Well, since I got a U.S. history degree, I know that Indians didn't put us in reservations when we destroyed everybody.
But we're going one horse and wagon with 2 people on it versus an Indian.
No, you're right. You're right.
One Indian. I mean, they'd tell you not to go. They'd tell you not to travel alone
Yeah.
across the West.
Excuse me.
Because if you come across a Seminole,
Yeah.
that one,
And
he's
if-
even got fire right there, bro.
I said he had fire on his spear.
He's
and
throwing
if-
that spear right at the wagon.
If we're really going to get into it, these two would never come in contact with each other. Because this. Excuse me. Seminoles in Florida.
Yeah,
This guy's in Oklahoma.
yeah,
I'll give you that, though. That Seminole's pretty mean looking.
yeah.
It's a pretty good mascot.
He's a good. Ooh, we're gonna have a matchup of cowboy and Indian, more than likely.
Maybe.
Who's next?
LSU
Tigers.
versus Arizona State Sun Devils.
Goo Tigers.
Yep. So your standard Tiger mascot,
Versus
a Sun Devil with a trident.
what is a Sun Devil exactly?
It's it's pretty standard devil,
So it's just it's the devil.
pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Versus
Sun
So-
Devil with a trident versus a
with
tiger.
the Tiger coming from LSU.
He's got a little extra grit to him
He's got some grit to him, but I'm thinking black magic.
to counteract
there's-
your devil.
Because there's a lot of witch
Oh,
doctors
voodoo.
and
Oh, it's all
voodoo.
voodoo down there.
So,
So,
but you've got to think that comes from the devil.
yeah.
Voodoo, black magic comes
So,
from the devil.
Are we saying they counteract each other? So we take the mysticism out of both of them since they counteract.
I'm saying the devil just cuts your magic off.
Well, then he wins everything.
Well, he wins this matchup,
Okay.
I think.
I don't.
Was it Arizona State?
Yeah.
Oof. He's been out in the sun too.
Hot. He's a Sun Devil.
He's mean. He's mischievous. Look at that smile.
That's fine.
He's mischievous.
But he's got a trident. That's an old school weapon.
Yeah.
You know how easy it is for tigers to kill people?
Have you seen Aquaman?
Yeah.
He can do some damage with that trident.
That's the dumbest.
He can do some damage with that trident. You don't think the
You ever seen The
devil?
Little Mermaid?
You don't think
He couldn't do jack.
You don't think the devil can throw a trident with some accuracy after being around for a zillion years?
But a voodoo tiger?
The voodoo comes from the devil.
So?
So the voodoo doesn't work without the devil. I think the devil can go, your voodoo's cut off, man. You've had too much.
Okay.
I mean, if you have a counterpoint,
I would just think they counteract each other. Because they're not. I don't think this Sun Devil gets to just decide who gets to use the voodoo that they have in their repertoire.
okay. So
So I would say they counteract each other.
if they counteract each other,
Now it's just a dude with a trident versus a tiger.
the devil with a trident.
But he's not the devil because there's devilishness and the voodoo counteract. They're off the table.
Yeah, but he's still the devil with like billions of years of knowledge versus a tiger.
Your timeline seems a little wrong, but that's fine. Billions of years.
I don't know how long he's
Who
been
knows?
around,
Yeah, we don't know.
but I
Because
mean,
if we just say it's the best trident wielder in the world versus a tiger.
well, they've killed tigers with spears before, and that's just one pokey thing. That's 3 pokey things.
Man, tigers have put a lot of people in the dirt.
They have, but the devil has too.
So you're strictly, if we counteract the mysticism,
yeah.
you're going with a weapon.
I'm going with knowledge and a weapon.
What is knowledge ain't going to keep you from getting your face peeled off?
You don't think the knowledge that he knows from tens of years of
For dozens of years.
for dozens of years that like he's seen some tigers get put down, and he
so
knows
now
how to put a tiger down.
All of a sudden, he knows everything about tiger combat too.
Well, he's seen some tiger combat, I'm sure.
So, just because you've seen it, don't mean you can keep a tiger from peeling your face off.
You watch the game footage. You know where what you gotta do.
If you show a kindergarten class 10 years worth of New Orleans Saints video, they're still not going to come out and beat the Saints.
Well, at that point, they'd be 10 years old. After
still,
they'd be 15.
You think a smart class, a class of 15-year-old kids that know everything about how the Saints play football could beat the Saints?
I think they put some points on the board.
You're so stupid.
I think they do some damage. Do they win? Who knows? We won't know. We'll have to wait 10 years. Figure it out. So what do we I mean,
Arizona State's fine. He's got a trident, and
I mean, how many?
You're pretty much giving the devil all the power in the world. So,
well, how many tigers are we going to see in this thing, and how many devils are we going to see in this thing?
The same amount of both.
Really?
Duke.
I don't know nothing about sports, man.
Duke's the Blue Devils.
Okay.
And then Auburn and LSU. That's the two Tigers, and we already have Auburn losing. So if we say Sun Devils, there are no more Tigers in the bracket.
But convince me.
It's a tiger. That's all there's.
Versus
a person with a trident.
He's more than a person, though, right?
But we counteracted the.
But is he more than a person? So what?
So the Harvard Poindexters, because they're smart, can beat anybody too.
With a trident, maybe.
The Einsteins with a trident could beat anybody because they're smart.
Are they mischievous too?
He's not mischievous.
Look at that grin. He's mischievous.
Well, he's gonna grin his way to the grave against a tiger. He's gonna grin all the way up till that tiger peels his face off.
So
like
you're
a banana.
saying he's just a person?
If we're taking away the LSU voodoo, the New Orleans voodoo versus the devil's part. So we take away all the special mystical powers. Now you've just got a dude with a trident and a tiger.
So really, but okay. So we'll just say he is just a guy. Okay.
If his magic's gone,
his magic's gone.
The tiger's magic is gone too.
Okay, yeah. So just a guy who happens to be wielding a trident for thousands of years.
Sure.
He's fantastic at trident.
Sure.
Tridenting.
Throwing a trident.
Throwing a trident. And he's seen a lot of people get killed by tigers, but he's also seen a lot of tigers get killed.
That's fine.
So he's got a good knowledge base.
Knowledge base has nothing to do with keeping a tiger from eating you to death.
If Joe Exotic can tame tigers.
Joe Exotic didn't tame tigers.
If he can not get killed by tigers.
It mauled that transvestite person he had working for him.
But that wasn't Joe. He had the knowledge.
This guy ain't Joe.
He had the knowledge.
Oh my gosh. Joe ain't got no knowledge except where to get his meth from. That was the only knowledge he had. And how to get.
Let's go Tigers.
Yeah.
Go Tigers.
Again, this is my final thought on it. It's 1 versus 1. People kill tigers when there's a clan of them throwing spears. This guy's by himself. Now, if he had a big old rifle, okay. But this guy in theory, this guy has a spear. When it's 1v1, tiger's winning that most of the time.
I don't know. It depends on how good in combat you are.
He's got on football pads and tennis shoes.
Well, because he's playing football.
Okay, I'm just saying.
He's dressed for the part. You don't go.
That tiger's always dressed for the part.
You don't
he's a tiger.
You don't go hunting
the
deer
tiger
dressed in.
The tiger
slacks.
Has tridents right here, on his feet, and in his mouth.
But he can't throw them.
He throws his body. You ever seen that tiger jump on top of that elephant and grab that dude in India? It didn't matter if that guy had 10 tridents. He was getting grabbed.
We'll go Tigers.
I also don't like glorifying the devil. I'm glad we got
I'm
them
not
out.
glorifying the devil.
All right. You have an infatuation with Satan. All right. Next matchup, Boston College versus Iowa. Ooh. They got the Golden Eagles versus the Hawkeyes. It's two birds. We got Air Force.
Eagle versus Hawk. Come on.
But
Come
now
on.
we got to look at the specific mascot, right? That was this. Look at this little cutesy eagle. He's flying around. Cute eagle. He means business.
That's a. But like
Everyone he's got, his mouth, he's just gritting his teeth, ready to fight. That eagle's just having a
because he knows he can
day.
win. That eagle knows he can win. He's not worried about.
Size ain't everything. I'm telling you.
I mean, you're putting America down when you say a bald eagle.
It's not a bald eagle. He's a golden eagle. Those aren't even in the United States. So, not the same thing.
Oh, it's not a bald eagle?
No.
Oh, then yeah, Hawk.
Okay. And his name's Baldwin. He might be a bald eagle then.
So that changes things for me.
But his name's Baldwin. There ain't no bald eagles with red feathers.
Well, there ain't no hawks with black and yellow either.
And normal people teeth.
Yeah,
He just looks like he's ready to fight.
he does.
I don't think that eagle knows what's coming.
Man, freaking USA. We don't. These colors don't run.
It's in Boston. That's barely USA.
Boston
now.
Tea Party.
Back in the day, barely.
Boston Tea Party.
You couldn't get somebody to say God bless America in Boston right now. Bet you can in Iowa.
Is that where
corn
this guy's
country.
from Iowa?
That's corn country. They're strong.
That's true.
Boston, old sissy, foggy Boston. Now, if this was 1776, I'll take Boston all the way to the Final Four. But this is current day Boston.
All right.
You like Hawkeye?
Yeah, Hawkeye.
He just looks like
We'll go Hawkeye.
he's just waiting to find that eagle up in the sky.
We'll go Hawkeye.
All right, we got one more. This is a SEC matchup. Just kidding, not an SEC matchup. Georgia
Bulldogs.
with an
Georgia Bulldog with an
actual
bulldog versus
two Wildcats,
a
husband and wife.
two Wildcats.
And I say that because every picture I found had the husband and wife Wildcat.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a pretty easy choice.
Yeah, two.
Versus,
And they're fighting for their children.
versus a domesticated bulldog.
Yeah.
Who's probably.
I'll take two Wildcats over a Bulldog. Yeah, that's pretty
I'd
easy.
probably take one Wildcat over that bulldog.
True. Arizona, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
All right.
So next week, matchups will be completely different.
Yes. It's
And-
16 more teams.
Yeah. And so we've got 4 weeks of this, right? Just the
Just
starting
these
out
big
round.
ones, yeah, getting the big ones knocked out.
Okay.
And then so it's 3 more weeks plus 2 more weeks plus another 2 weeks. And it won't be near as long
Yeah.
going forward because there's half the teams in it. But yeah, next week is a whole nother set of 16 teams, 8 different matchups. So and
Stay tuned.
Yep, we'll get you guys to vote on them too.
Yep, you
Help
guys
us
will
break
vote
some
on it.
ties. Because
Yeah,
there was some
'cause-
we didn't want to agree on
Yeah,
today.
there definitely was. There was. I still don't know about Devil versus Tiger,
That's fine.
but we got a Tiger in there. There's a Devil to come,
Yeah.
and so the Devil still has a chance.
I wasn't happy about Northwestern versus Indiana, the Hoosiers.
Just a guy from Indiana.
Indiana's because that's
Just a
that
guy.
middle of the country too, though. That's that Midwest,
Just a guy though.
raised on corn and hard work.
I don't think that guy's raised on corn and hard
Okay.
work.
I'm just saying.
But so moving on to the next thing.
Yeah.
We both went through and watched The Social Dilemma
Yep.
this week. If you want to give a rundown.
Social Dilemma is a documentary on Netflix, and it was made by, I don't know who specifically it was made by, but they interviewed a lot of high-ups throughout the
Former.
social media companies and Google and YouTube and stuff like that. Some people that worked pretty high up and were in charge of some stuff, they were interviewed in it. And then some, like Jonathan Haidt, he's a social psychologist. He doesn't work. He never worked for any of those companies, but he has extensively studied the effects of social media on children specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Written a couple of books about it. He's been on Joe Rogan's podcast. I've been listening to him for years before this ever came out, so I'm glad they did interview him for the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, and chime in where you think I'm not hitting something right.
Okay.
Social media was created to be a great thing and to bring people together and share ideas and promote inclusiveness, and it has turned into a lawless, barren wasteland of misery and hate.
Really, what it's turned into is a space for advertisers.
It makes money for big business.
Yeah. The more eyes they have on it and the longer the eyes are on it, the more money that Facebook's making. So based on what these people who used to work at these places are saying is, oh, well, we engineer this system to make you want to engage with the content or be a part of the content or just look at the content as much as possible.
Yeah.
And so what they would do is, so when you're on Facebook or Instagram
They
or whatever.
data mine. That's the...
Well, and they use certain psychological responses to make you do different things. So like when you've got Facebook or whatever open and you pull down, it's like pulling the lever at a slot machine.
It's a dopamine hit.
What are you going to get? What's next? I'm going to get something different. So what's it going to be? And then like the notifications thing, they'll send you a notification every now and then when they notice that you haven't been looking at social media for an extended amount of time, which I'm going to be honest, since we've been sitting here, I haven't gotten a notification from any social media. But there's all these people that have problems with what's going on because Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and everybody is mining your data and selling it to advertisers.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you guys thought that Facebook was just kind of like your grandma. You come over to her house, she's really nice to you. She wants to just show you pictures of the family and of your friends, and she wants to be not. No, Facebook is a company. They want to make as much money as possible, period. And so any company in the world is going to do this. This has happened thousands of times too. When the newspaper came around, people were going, oh, well, who controls the newspaper? Who's giving us the information for the newspaper? The radio comes along. People are going, well, this is ridiculous that, we're only hearing from these certain companies because they're the ones that can pay to be a part of the advertising. Same thing happened with TV. And now the same thing is happening with social media and the internet is there's an ad revenue stream that's there. And yeah, they're sending you notifications so that you can engage with the content so that they can get paid, which is what any company on the face of this. That's what they're doing.
That's fine. Yes, that's what they're doing. But that's not what this documentary is talking about. The real dangerous stuff is.
The dangerous stuff is that people like Russia or somebody like that could pay for advertising and then skew certain.
Not could have.
Okay, so like was it Manila or
Myanmar
and
the Philippines
and the Philippines, where the government was buying advertisements on Facebook and then showing like, hey,
you can change behavior with social media.
Yeah, if people are dumb, but
it's not if it's happening.
Yeah. So the biggest takeaway that I had from this, which is something that I've already done myself, is if I see something on Facebook and I engage with that content, if it's like a news source or an article or something like that, I'm going to go research that crap.
But people don't do that.
I know people don't do that because people are dumb.
Well, then okay, so you're immune to everything this documentary said. That's great. You're one of a few.
Okay, but so instead of, what was their goal? Are we going to shut social media down now? That's not going to happen.
Okay, yeah. So we've created a monster that we can't control.
So what's the fix? To me, it's educating people. It's educating people and saying, hey, look at sources, look at facts, look at all this stuff, because you're never going to stop.
Give too much credit to people.
But you're never going to stop people from shoving. I mean, the same thing happened. The same thing happened when we were at war. The government was buying advertisements in newspapers and stuff like that, and saying, if you know a communist, report them to the whatever. It's the same thing that's been happening for hundreds of years.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, so are we like, what's the fix? Because we're not going to ever get rid of advertising. We're never going to get rid of propaganda.
No.
But
I don't think there is a fix.
So we're just like...
That's the sad part.
Which, I mean, I guess like the more people that watch The Social Dilemma, the more people that now have this knowledge that happens, which if you didn't know that it happened before you watched The Social Dilemma, then you're not paying attention. Like, I mean, maybe it's because I've worked in that realm, but like I used to work in advertising, and so I understood.
At no point do I think the most important part about this was the advertising.
Well, but that's the thing that, to me, that I took away from a good chunk of it was, well, they're mining this data and they know exactly what you're about to do and what you're going to do. And like they're selling that to advertisers, which is
that's not the scary part.
The scary part is that it can get into the wrong hands.
That's one of the scary parts. The other scary part is that it's destroying the minds of young kids.
Which is another thing that we should take into consideration as far as like, okay, children are they're beings that they don't have self-control, and they can't, for the most part, rationalize things.
Because they're children.
But like what my parents did with me is said, hey, you can only be on the computer for this amount of time. You can only watch this amount of TV. And so we can say, well, let's let the government, say, oh, well, kids who are 14 and under can only watch this amount of content per day. Like,
I don't like that fix.
Well, I mean,
because that's
more government controlling what you and your family are doing.
Yeah, no.
And so,
but you're not gonna. They said in the thing. I think we were talking about it and said it. You're not gonna put the genie back in the bottle. It's out now.
But the genie's been out for hundreds of years. It's happening at a faster rate now,
which is the bad part.
Which is, yes, it is a bad thing.
Kids weren't committing suicide because they were reading all the newspaper articles in the 40s about stuff.
Yeah, but
now
with the thing about suicide,
sit here like this 24/7 and not and look at how much you don't look like Kylie Jenner.
Okay, so that was still happening when we were kids, and then
because people bully.
Yeah,
and if you look at that as like a trash can fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, yeah, there's always, this fire's always lit, but it's been contained like physically.
Yeah.
And now if you just dumped an 18-wheeler of gas on it.
And maybe there should be some sort of age limit that says, because
they already have those, but you just hit yes.
Well, but initially Facebook was only for college students.
Yeah.
And then after college students, it was like college or adult.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're not, like we said, you're not going to put the genie back in the bottle. But if you can't put the genie back in the bottle, then what do you do? Like,
it's self-regulatory.
I know there's a problem.
You regulate your children.
There's a problem. Yeah. And that's what I like.
And that's the sad thing is that we're past that point for this generation at least.
Yeah.
And maybe these kids that have gone through this, because as millennials, we know what life was like before social media.
Mm-hmm.
And we know what life is like with it.
Yeah.
And we got past that age where you saw how superficial it was.
Mm-hmm.
But these kids in it now, they grew up with it there. As soon as they could get on a computer, they had social media.
Yeah.
And so maybe it will self-regulate, and the people that do get through it, the kids that Gen Z, you said, when they're our age or older and have children, they'll be like, good Lord.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll self-regulate. That's really the only way you're going to do it, because you can't make parents make their children like regulate social media.
Yeah, but I mean, it goes back to the fact that like parents need to be doing those things, though.
You're absolutely
like,
right.
Like they did with me. They were like, "Hey, you can't be on this computer all day. You got to go outside and play. You've got to go do something other than what you're doing right now."
But to think that, and this is a whole nother thing because this doesn't have to do with social media. It's parenting in general. Just as each generation, as we get into the next and next generation, personal responsibility is just getting dropped like a bad habit. And so,
well, is that the case? Or, I mean, going to what the documentary brought up, are we just fed that information and now we believe that social responsibility is going out the window? Or is it actually going out the window? Because, I mean, when you think about it, all the left is saying is the right is racist.
The left sees the left stuff and the right sees the right stuff.
The right is saying that the left is nothing but a bunch of like regulatory, like they want to, everybody gets this and it's socialism and all this other stuff.
And if not, we burn the building down.
So maybe all that we're seeing is stuff that we've been culled into.
Yeah.
Oh, social responsibility is out the window. Maybe it's not. Maybe people are socially responsible. And I mean, that is like,
but they're not. If it was, you wouldn't. There'd be more evidence because me and we've talked about it. We're millennials. We got past this craze. We're still have social media, obviously, but we were old enough to understand it before it just like completely engrossed everything.
Yeah.
And so we know you can step back from your algorithm that Instagram feeds you and see what's actually happening.
Yeah.
I think there'd be more obvious, like everything's pretty normal.
Yeah.
If it was actually there.
If you took the phone away, everything's actually really normal.
But when you do that and you look, it's not.
Yeah.
So
well,
it's definitely more than being on your polarized sides, but even the center is like people still pick their groups and you listen to that group.
Well, yeah, and that's what like we were talking about in the car earlier is like you were saying, oh, well, your feed is specific to you and my feed is specific to me. And it's like, bro, I ain't got no problem with that because there's stuff that you enjoy that I don't enjoy that I'm like.
And that's cool for like if you like camping or sports.
Yeah.
But when it's putting that wedge between the other half of the country.
Yeah. Well, and I think we could all do with just like freaking putting our phones away and putting media away and all that. And so as you go through the documentary at the very end, every single one of these people are asked the same question of what can someone do to help break this cycle for themselves. And every single one of those people say, turn off notifications.
Yep.
Because that's the one, if you don't have notifications.
And regulate your children's intake.
Yeah, regulate your children's intake.
That's like the only.
Regulate your own personal intake.
Well, definitely.
Yeah. And but turning off notifications will make your world a better place.
Yeah.
Because you're not constantly, I mean, it is like I don't have anything. You look at it again. Oh, I don't have anything.
And then people get sad because they don't have anything.
Yeah. But if I turn notifications off and I'm only going to check it this time or this time or whatever, or I'm going to check it throughout the day still, but I'm just not like, I'm not a slave to the notifications.
But that is so incredibly hard for somebody who's not actively trying to do that.
Yeah.
Which is most people.
Well, and we keep talking about kids and stuff like that, but I think we've both also experienced the side of it that there's a comparison game. That's
the
like
thing.
At our age.
Yeah.
There's a comparison.
Yeah.
You look at somebody's kids, you look at somebody how their house, their car, and like
I tell Anna that all the time.
Really?
Because she'll be like, oh, look at these people bought a house, or look at this car they got, or look at dang, that girl's purse. And I say 2 out of 3 Americans are in debt.
Yeah. Oh, I'm in debt.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But just like they bought that house, that means a bank gave them money.
Yeah.
They don't.
Well, and that's like there's people that are looking at your life the way that you're looking at the other
Somebody
person's.
else's
And
life, yeah.
honestly, those people that you're envious of are probably looking at your feed and
Or
going,
miserable.
yeah, well,
Maybe not envious, but they're miserable at the top.
yeah,
Or
they're,
whatever.
They're miserable, envious. They're 100 different things.
They have everything that you think you need, and they're still miserable. Yeah.
This is a thing I coined when
You coined it?
I coined it
Dang.
when I was single.
This is a Josh original.
Is anything that I post is to get attention from a girl that I like or a girl, period. Anything that I
female.
liked.
The opposite
Yeah,
sex.
the opposite sex. Anything that was on my social media before I got married. Meg asks all the time now, well, why don't you post on social? There's, I don't have a need for it anymore.
It.
Yeah, I've completed my social media strategy.
Yeah.
Worked out well. But
Now I just look at cool pictures.
yeah, or funny videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and so I think 9 times out of 10 too, and I'm saying this like, I'm trying to say this as gingerly as possible. 9 times out of 10, something that you post on social media as an average American, this is just average American. If you're posting something on social media, it's not so that you can just have a memory book of the things that you've done or accomplished.
It's for attention.
It's for attention.
It's for a dopamine hit.
Yeah, it's so that you can see how many people, and we're all. I mean, I said average American. I've done it. You've done it.
We're average.
Everybody's done it.
We're aggressively
Everybody.
medium.
We're aggressively medium.
Yeah.
The average American, the point of a social media post is to get attention.
Is for people to look at it and therefore think I am a cooler person because of the
Yeah.
things that I put on the internet.
Absolutely.
That's the
I don't
point.
put a crappy photo up, like off, like the lighting's horrible and the whatever, and I'm like, but I want to remember this specific thing that we did.
Because they go buy a Polaroid
Yeah.
and get you an actual book.
Yeah,
Or
get
an
you
old
a-
school. You don't even need a Polaroid.
Yeah.
You can just have an old. We got picture books.
Yeah. Oh, my
out the
parents have
wazoo.
got, and it was, but
That's
and
not it
those,
anymore.
but those were the things that, and that's Instagram. That's how Instagram started. It was supposed to be that catalog of memories.
Yeah.
If you look at the original Instagram
Yeah.
icon, it was a photo book,
Yeah.
but it's gotten so far past that now.
Because it was created by Facebook, or Facebook bought it.
Facebook bought it after it was
Became
created.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
But yeah, because, and even like and look, we've done it. You've probably done it. I have one on my Instagram, I think. Like the inspirational stuff. Like
yeah.
that's still for attention.
Yeah, no, that's the.
It's still for attention.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, have you seen how inspirational Lee is? Like,
Yeah.
have you seen how smart and intelligent Josh is?
He put a Bible verse up with that
Yeah,
post
he's-
of a forest,
He's so spiritual.
and he's trying to help.
Meanwhile,
It's attention.
I was dealing with my
You're-
freaking anger
and
issues,
you're just
or
waiting
my,
to see
yeah.
how many likes you can get
Yep.
on that inspirational
Yep.
post.
Yeah,
And that's the dangerous part.
Yep.
It's a dopamine hit.
Yep.
Literally a dopamine hit, which is a chemical, which it's a drug.
yeah,
And so you can expand it out to say that it's posting something on Instagram is like taking a bump of coke.
yeah.
In theory.
In theory, yeah. It takes a long way to get there, but yeah,
But as an
I get
example,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
If you do it to get a dopamine hit, you do a bump of coke to get high.
yeah,
You're just getting high off of dopamine.
yeah.
And so it's social media and it even says in the documentary that there's only 2 industries that
yeah.
call their customers users, and it's drug dealers and social media.
Well, usually
That's just-
software.
It's funny.
Software.
Just saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which
But-
is, I mean,
It's true though.
eh.
It's true. People put stuff. We just talked about it for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but
The 2 quotes I pulled from that documentary that I really liked and I'll use in the future was, let's see if I can dig through this screen. Social media is a digital pacifier, and that's a whole nother thing
Yeah.
that we could talk about for days. And then algorithms are opinions and code.
well, one thing that I took away from it is you've signed up for this software or platform or whatever, right? So some new fancy thing comes along. It's the aggressively medium social media app.
What you got? that's a long time coming, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, like just as a broad,
keep
it's
going. I hear you.
the AG Pod social media app.
Got you.
It's a free thing. If it's free, it's not the product you are. So if there's anything in this world that you are getting for free, Siri's listening.
They're listening.
If there's something that you're getting for free, you're the product. Just understand that going into it. I'm fine with that. I am A-okay.
But you're not 12.
With me being the product. Absolutely. But me being the product, I'm completely understanding of anything that I post on social media, the things that I look at, the things that I do is all congregating into an algorithm that then spits out things that the algorithm thinks I'm going to like or enjoy.
Yeah.
And then things that it thinks I will buy.
Yep.
So if you go into it with that understanding and with the understanding that that's what your kid's getting too. Like if your kid's on social media, that's what they're getting is there's some company that is mining their data that's putting stuff in front of them.
But if we were to say that the thing that's harming these children is that they're just buying a bunch of toys on Amazon,
Well, no, that's not what I'm
then
saying.
you fix it. But that's not what's going on with the children.
Yeah, there's other things that are going on with the kids. But if you have a kid on social media, you need to understand that is happening.
Yeah.
That they're a product to a company.
That no matter what's going on, their self-worth is going down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if Jason had a monster truck toy that every time he played with it, he felt like crap.
Yeah.
Or it weighed his emotions so much either way, you'd get rid of that monster truck.
Well, and you're at that age, you're very vulnerable.
Yeah.
But I think that part of that too is going back to the parenting side of things.
You're absolutely right.
Is you need to be able to communicate with your kids and have a dialogue about it and have an understanding. Because that was one of the things with in the movie that the little girl, they put all their phones into this like
and
little
she went and smashed it with a hammer?
She smashed it with a hammer and got her phone out.
First off, she's getting her A whooped.
Absolutely. And her phone's taken away.
Forever.
Her phone is taken away for...
And you broke your brother's screen because of it? You're paying for that with yard work.
Yeah. So...
Yeah.
That scenario should have been handled differently. Period.
Yeah.
Also,
how it was handled in the little skit,
yeah,
how she just gets it and goes upstairs,
yeah,
that's how most of it's happening today.
I agree.
And then
not
how do we
it
fix it? Okay, so we start some movement about getting parents more engaged. As soon as they get big enough and you start talking about social media, they'll flag you if you start some group about it.
Well...
Right?
They might.
Exactly.
They might flag you, but also there's a lot of like this stuff that
it's in the home.
Well, this was one thing that I found really interesting is at the beginning of the movie there was a guy who worked for Google, he worked for Gmail, and he noticed how addictive the mail app was.
It was the main dude, wasn't it? The redheaded guy?
Yeah. And so he wrote this big presentation,
a big memo,
sent
it to everybody in the company.
Well, sent it out to his
first
colleagues,
a couple of people,
and then people started passing it around. Everybody was sending him stuff. The
president got it.
Yeah, everybody sending him stuff like, "Yeah, I agree with this. This is amazing. This is awesome." And then it just fell flat, and that's because there's a lot of things that people want, but there's very few people that put in the time and effort and work to make things happen.
And you can't make people do that.
No, and if you're swimming against the current and you don't have a mental fortitude.
It was the thing the guy did where he said all this crap tilts the floor.
Yeah.
You can still get up.
You can get to the top.
You can still get there, but it's harder.
Yeah.
And people don't do hard anymore.
Yeah. And that's a whole nother thing.
Right.
But man, you got to have the mental fortitude to swim against the current if you want change to happen.
Yeah.
If you actually want change to happen. If you don't, hey, keep being their product.
And the only way to fix it is to just bury it into your kid's brain.
Yeah.
As much as possible. And hopefully they get one tick closer to normal.
Yeah.
And that's all you can hope for. Because
that's all that...
The digital pacifier thing.
Yeah.
I care about that so much. It's like, you know how... obviously, we have like a mental health issue in the country.
Yeah.
Just in general. And it's... Nobody's working through their issues.
Yeah.
Whenever you don't have anything to do, what's the first thing you do?
Social media.
Scroll through aimless, even if it's just innocent, funny videos, you're not sitting down and working through the stuff in your head that you need to fix. If you care at all, you can do 4 clicks and knock your kid's screen time down.
Yep.
And yours.
Yep. It's not that hard.
No.
You're going to have to deal with them when they're like,
And so just get on your phone. Whatever. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to legislate that. You're not going to... It's not going to fix itself. It says that in the documentary.
Yeah.
It's not set up to fix itself. And so the only way to fix it, you can either bring the government in to make some stupid... Or just... It's
do it yourself.
Per house.
Yeah.
Per house. But that's hard.
Yeah.
But good stuff isn't easy.
Mm-hmm.
Beneficial stuff isn't usually easy. And we're just not meant to have dopamine hit after dopamine hit. And that's so supposedly, if you're just flowing dopamine through, you get a tolerance to it.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why that just
you're on
adds
it longer
to
and longer and longer.
And when you're off of it, you have worse. Your brain is worse and worse and worse, and your emotions. And we're not meant. And it even said, like, with the technology, for a while our brain kept up with it.
Yeah.
Because if you think in the last 100 years, cars have gotten twice as fast.
Yeah.
But
computing power was like 100
millions of times, or hundreds of thousands of times.
It was trillions.
Yeah. Our brain's still down here.
Yeah.
And that is exponentially increasing, and our brain and our society and everything isn't meant to catch up to that.
Yeah. The government's not going to stop it. Facebook's not going to stop it. So self-regulate at home.
That's it.
Be aware of the things that are going on. Research. If you see something on the internet and you want to believe it, research it.
Yeah. If the problems this stuff were causing specifically our children, us too, was anything other than social media, you'd throw it out of your house.
Yeah.
And so there are some people that I've heard from and have talked to that are just done after seeing this.
I'm not done, but...
Right. But you don't have to be. You have to learn. But you're not going to learn scrolling through a screen.
Yeah.
You got to put time in. And
with that being said, go check out our social media pages.
Yeah, gosh, that's the thing.
I mean, and that's another big part of it is if all this stuff went away, we wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
We would have to find a radio station that would want to put us on.
Yeah.
And they would be like, well, why are we going to put you on?
Yeah.
And so there is
pros
good
and cons
in
to
social
everything.
media.
Obviously, there's great things from social media.
But seriously, go check out our Instagram.
Yeah.
At
and our
Aggressively
YouTube,
Medium Pod.
YouTube,
and then
the same.
YouTube, Aggressively Medium Podcast.
Yep.
But thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah.
Stay tuned to the social media this week where we will have the bracket for the next week up.
For y'all to vote
for you guys to vote on and break some ties because
obviously we're not going to agree on everything.
Yeah. That's the whole point of the podcast.
Yep. But cool, guys. Thanks for watching.
Yep. Thanks for watching.
See y'all later.
See you next week.